All right, so the first two things we're going to do today for new grammar are both going to be review. So let's review our subject, verb transitive, indirect object, direct object sentence pattern. Girls, what two parts of speech is the indirect object? What are the only two parts of speech that the indirect object can be?
Pronoun,
A noun or a pronoun. Good. And where does the indirect object fall in the sentence pattern?
Between the verb transitive and direct object.
Yes, it will be between a transitive verb, the verb transitive, and the direct object. Good. Can you have an indirect object without a direct object?
Nope.
No, you can't. You have to have a direct object to have an indirect object. Okay, so something that is very important to clarify is that the indirect object is not receiving the action of the verb. Rather, the indirect object answers the question for whom or for what did the subject perform the action. So first, right here, I forgot to grab my marker. Let's look at this subject, verb, transitive, direct object sentence. She made a card. So who made a card?
She. Subject.
Pronoun. What is being said about she?
Made. Verb.
She made who or what?
Card.
Direct object.
Card does not rename
No,
or
no.
replace she. No, D-O, which makes our verb transitive. We're not going to worry about A.
Adjective.
Yes, it's an adjective. Okay, so she made a card. Now, let's come down. She made me a card. For whom did she make that card?
Me.
Me. She made the card for me. Me is the indirect object. Very good. This is how, as a reminder, this is how we diagram those sentences. So she made me card A. All of these vertical lines here are straight up and down. They are completely vertical in this sentence pattern. The only things that are slanted off are going to be our modifiers, but the sentence pattern is going to be straight up and down. Okay, if you have this handout, which is in the Google Drive for week 23, it says week 23 sentences. We are going to go through this top portion in red, some example sentences.
You mean read? You said red.
It is in red. The color is red.
So
So we're going to go through these sentences, and the indirect object is underlined, and we're just going to talk that through. So, can you look up this thing? Thank you. I gave her a hug. For whom did I give a hug?
Her.
Her. Good. She gave me a piece of cake. For whom was the piece of cake?
Me.
Bailey?
Me.
Me. All right. He made me a snack. For whom was that snack made?
Me.
Me. Give your brother your old phone. For whom was the old phone given? Brother. Bring them some candy. For whom was the candy brought? Them. Good. Offer your friend a drink. For whom was the drink offered?
Friend.
Friend. He wrote me a song. For whom was the song written?
Me.
Okay. I actually had to remake this video because as I was going through it, I kept asking the wrong question. I kept saying, who received the song? But that is completely opposite of what I taught at the beginning. The question that the indirect object is answering is not who's receiving it. It is for whom that action was done, which is why we just went through and did that so many times, because I'm really trying to drive in for you all the for whom or for what. That is the question. Those are the questions the indirect object answers. So here we have a longer sentence. Jacob, who gave you a card.
It says Joseph.
I'm sorry, Joseph, thank you. Joseph, I guess I wrote Joseph there, but it's Jacob here. Never mind, to change the J name. Who gave you a card, gave his sister his old phone when he bought himself a new one. Okay, so Joseph, who gave you a card. For whom was that card given?
You.
You. Therefore, this is the what, Bailey?
The indirect object.
Indirect object. Good. And Joseph gave his sister his old phone. For whom did Joseph give his old phone?
Sister.
Sister. So indirect object here, indirect object here. And then lastly, when he bought himself a new one. For whom did he buy a new one?
Himself.
Himself. Indirect object. Okay, you can stop that video.